Lovely son of Dalakhani. Beautifully bred horse. He cost 120,000 guineas from Book 1 by the great sire Dalakhani, the sire of Integral, Group 1 winner, of course, this season. Reliable Man, Conduit, Seismos, Duncan, many others. And he's out of the pivotal mare Censored, a wonderful family packed full of black type that traces to the great, great racehorse in America, Affirmed. John, I mean, we were looking obviously for this syndicate where the horses eventually will head down to race in Australia for you know, of course we hope that this fellow will be a Melbourne Cup winner, but this is a really fun experiment that's sort of captured the imagination of folks, and trying to find horses that will stay that trip that fit your bill isn't the easiest task in the world.
When a horse like this comes out and you get blown away by a physical specimen that's so formed, you can see again for a horse that's late maturing how well formed he is of his front. These horses can actually do things when they're younger because they're natural, but as they get older and they develop, you're hoping that their stamina will kick in and their just maturity will come into play, and they will then develop into what their pedigree tells you they could be. And Dalakhani himself was a top-class middle-distance horse, and this would be as good a representative of the sire as you could wish to see.
And we hope that this fella in front of you, the son of Dalakhani, will be the Melbourne Cup winner in 3 or so years' time. Well, here's a lovely son of Dream Ahead that William Haggis is going to train. He cost 100,000 guineas from Book 2. He is an absolute corker of a colt. By the first season sire, Dream Ahead, he was the champion 2-year-old in Europe in 2010 and the champion 3-year-old sprinter in Europe in 2011. He was a phenomenal racehorse, and here's a wonderful example of his first crop. And this fella's out of the group place, the Queen Mary place no less, daughter of acclamation, Shyrl. She was a very fast filly herself, and this fella is a March 23rd foal, John, and a lovely, beautiful horse, great markings, and a fabulous way of going.
All new territory for us because this is Dream Ahead's first crop of yearlings. So we were trying to understand what they were like and how he was getting his foals. They were big, powerful, rangy, strong. We thought this was as good a yearling by the sire that we saw. Some made a lot more. They were rather heavy and big and weren't so fluent. So we put our chips on this horse, and we think he's a very, very good advocate for a young, phenomenal racehorse. Very rare that a racehorse can be at Group 1 performing at 2 and 3. So we're hoping that Dream Ahead really turns out to be a good sire, and we think this is an absolute cracking colt.
Well, here's a cracking son of Dark Angel out of the Selkirk mare, Selkirk Sky. Richard Hannon will train him. He cost 160,000 guineas. Dark Angel himself, well, what a fantastic sire. He has been very successful young sire. He's sired the winners of over 350 races, some 5 million plus in prize money now. Lethal Force, Esticar, Hereat, Lily's Angel, many, many, many group horses. And this fella is, as I say, out of the Selkirk mare. Flicker's Boy is now a winner. The dams produced 2 winners from 3 runners. Lovely family. And John took us through him. Very typical, isn't he, of the sire? Very powerful horse.
Yeah, very powerful, very strong. The sire's done it the hard way. And when a horse comes out like this, lovely, big, fine, square horse, very scopy horse. Again, mature enough to be running at 2, but very much with a 3-year-old career in mind when he's really got his maturity. He strips that puppy fat off him and turns into the athlete. When we're buying the yearlings at the auction, we always have to remember not what they look like today, it's how they're going to develop. And this horse has really got a great future to him. We spent a lot of money on him, really. 160,000 was a lot of money. But that proves what a kind of a standout he was in the auction. Hopefully he lives up to the expectations.
Lovely son of Raven's Pass. Raven's Pass, wonderful racehorse. You probably remember him. He was the champion 3-year-old miler in Europe in 2008. He won the Breeders' Cup Classic, trained by John Gosden. He won the Queen Elizabeth II and the Celebration Mile at Goodwood, and the Solario as a 2-year-old. He's a fantastic racehorse, son of elusive quality. He's produced numerous good horses since retiring to stud in 2009. Very successful young sire. And this fella is out of a Danehill Dancer mare, Venturi, a group winner herself, and Sir Michael Stout will train this fella. And we think he was one of the, one of the real bargains. Only 65,000 guineas from book 1.
The syndicates work so brilliantly, having liberty, because where we would have stepped up and spent possibly slightly more than we felt we wanted to spend on the last colt in the syndicate, blow me down, you get a horse like this for 65,000, and they fit perfectly into the average of what we're trying to achieve.
He's a humdinger. He's a son of Fastnet Rock out of the Galileo stakes winning mare and group place mare, Gemstone. Cost 150,000 guineas. William Haggis is going to train him. He bought from book 1. This was a horse you were not going to, leave the sale without.
No, he's a fine, fine horse who really we knew very well here, reared at Highclere stud, and we knew immediately that we were onto something from the moment he popped out. He's a big, powerful horse. This is exactly what Fastnet Rock's producing out of a Galileo mare, and again, all muscle, all formed, and this is what the sire's doing, getting stock like this. Absolute monster of a horse, an absolute belter he is.
Bred to be good. He's a first foal, so he's a hell of a first foal from a group listed stakes winning daughter of Galileo, Gemstone. As John said, it's this power, the structure of the horse is so typical of the sort of animals that Fastnet Rock produces. Lovely, lovely horse. Well, here's a lovely colt by none other than one of the greatest racehorses we'll ever see, See the Stars. See the Stars won 8 races, won 4.4 million in prize money. He won the Coral Eclipse, he won the Derby, he won the Juddmonte International, he won the Arc de Triomphe, he won the Irish Champion, won the 2,000 guineas and the Beresford, and now, of course, he's really getting into his stride as a young sire. Sire of See the Moon, winner of the German Derby by that staggering margin. Of course, Tagruda, the great 3-year-old filly owned by Sheikh Hamdan this year, annoyingly beat Telescope in the King George. So she's in our very bad books, but what a brilliant filly, winner of the Oaks, and many others. There are multiple stakes performers and winners being produced by this young stallion. This filly in front of you is out of a King Mambo mare. It's from the family of Don't Sulk, winner of the Prix de Royaume at Longchamp, the dinner partner family. It's a very famous family. And John, for 100,000 guineas, he's another that's plopped on through the net. And this is the sort of horse that hopefully would have a shot, obviously, if good enough, of being a Derby horse.
You can see the difference between these horses that are going to mature by the June of their 3-year-old career. That's our aim with this horse. He could be a Derby prospect, who knows. He's got everything going for him. Big, powerful horse again. Really a horse with everything in front of him. Great actioned horse. You can't be more impressed than when you see a horse really step into his stride. And he's everything that the sire is getting. These big, powerful, sort of later maturing horses, but all class, all horse. So for 100,000, we couldn't believe our luck.
Here's a very special son of Dutch art. He'll be trained by Sir Michael Stout, by Dutch art, who is a wonderful racehorse. He won the Morney at Deauville, he won the Middle Park and the Norfolk, second in the July Cup and the Maurice de Geest. It's a sire of multiple Group 1 performers, Slade Power, Garswood, Producer, Casper Netcher, many others. Very successful stallion. And this fellow in front of you is out of the Danehill mare, Royale Danehill, a winner herself and dam of a winner. Family of Royal Ballerina and Free Guest and Shamshir and many others. John, powerful horse, isn't he? Great strength and athleticism.
Out of a Danehill mare, one of the greatest influences in modern history. And Dutch Art's really done incredibly well. Just again, a great physical individual. He's bred to be quite a fast horse on paper, but it wouldn't surprise me if he'll stretch out and stay a little bit further than a sprinter. He's got a little bit more stretch and range to him, but a lovely, lovely horse, very typical of what we're seeing the Dutch Arts to be. And that's our comfort zone when we know what these sires are producing, and they're the ones that we're really going for. And you'll see him move along the top here. Great horse. Although you see him a little bit flashy in that colour, we tend to be colour-blind when we're looking at horses, and we're not interested in colour. It doesn't mean anything. It's the structure that counts for us. And just a lovely, lovely, good, all-round, cracking colt, hence paying 190,000 for him.
Well, here's a lovely son of the first season sire, Zoffany. Cost 190,000 euros, and John Gladstone will train him. Zoffany was the joint top-rated 3-year-old miler in Ireland in 2011. He won 5 races. He won the Phoenix Stakes, Group 1 as a 2-year-old. And I must say, as a son of Dan Silly, he's producing the most unbelievably lovely horses in his first crop. And this fella in front of you now is out of the Polish precedent mare, Roystonea. She was a dual winner, stakes placed. She's a half-sister to the stakes winners, I say, Bermuda Rye and Bermuda Grass. Lovely family of Scorpion. And Johnny, another must-have horse that we were absolutely taken with.
We talk about, when we say horses hold themselves so well, he's very much in control of his own being. Great power, great strength. I always say you understand the importance when you stand into these horses. So many horses that we look at auction, they look good from afar, and you go and stand into them and they're very narrow, flat-sided. They have to carry a jockey on their backs. So the importance is really how wide that rib cage is, how strong that back is. And this horse is a brilliant example of an athlete that can really use himself.